Might we begin this day in readiness? Might we begin this day in all that is, and with a degree of understanding that there is much in the precipice of advancement, and much that is moving forward into the knowingness in this reality. And so as you pause to consider this, might you also consider that there is much that is in flow and within the mix of the day, and that it is from the focus that you place upon the activity, and it is upon the focus that you place upon the endeavor, and it is the focus that you place upon each thing that you wish to move forward into your being and world. And do you see that as you marinate or you stop and you consider lesser endeavors, lesser accomplishments, the endeavors that you do not want to come to the threshold of your understanding? Do you see that when you marinate in this energy, that you in effect cancel out the other energy that would move it into being? And so we want you to consider this day. We want you to consider that all is within the mix of flow, and that all is as it might be, and thus is, because there is that wafting of energetic, inspiring, and inspirational understandings that do move about and await entry into this world of form. And if you will but stop and marinate, or stop and visualize, or stop and focus in another way than perhaps you have done before. For when the mind has that pause engaged and you have not slowed or stilled the mind does enter into that pause to introduce other components that are not of the highest standing, that are not of the highest caliber, that are not of the highest means and direction, so that when you move, you do not move in a way of wonderment, but you move in a how can this ever be sort of mode. And that energy then is pondered and reflected upon. And so if you will consider that you need not do anything other than still the mind this day, that would be a vast undertaking. But you must enlist a practice in which you begin the process so that you may do so sooner rather than later. For you will find when you get this thing under control, then you can shift into different modalities of understanding without that understanding becoming compromised. And even listening here, there is the degree of wonderment as to whether or not this will really help and remedy what has existed before. And you see, these are all mental ponderings. So we would say to let us first begin from the heart space. And it is simply that you focus on the heart space. You set your intentions on the heart space, and you visualize that area. When you do so, you are directing your energy from the mental location to a different location. And in that redirection, you can then anticipate and move forward different understandings and different ponderings by simply reorganizing where things are to begin and where things are to go out within your own being and world. And so if you will begin each day simply in this way, and then move into your grounding exercises, and then move into other endeavors, into your contemplation or meditational mode, but doing it from this space, moving forward as opposed to the other. And then when you send out perhaps universal love into your community and into your surroundings, then you do it from a heart-spaced objective. And then when it returns to you, it will move back to the heart space, and it will grow that area and the strength and the bond and the ability to recall, to anchor, to enlist the heart space as your primary engagement key moving forward. And this is what we seek for you to know this day, that this is the way you might begin moving forward. And if you will stay with it, and if you will establish it as a critical component of your practice, then as we build upon it, more can grow from this point forward, can grow and be in play in a most magnificent way.